Good morning, folks. Dave Salk is brought to us from Dr. John's. And like it says, Sunday Funday Extravaganza. I think this is pronounced melange, something like that. Anyway, started out being a 4 ounce tin. Got this one here by the way of a grab bag. A while back, he sent out an email, and there was you get a bag with assorted stuff in it, and decided, sure, I'll give it a try and see what I get. And this is one of them that came in it. Pretty cool. Scent on this one, on this particular soap, has got some fruit scent to it, some wood, some spice, and then, not that this is a match, but I thought the two would play well with each other. This one here is an Alpa 378, and this also has a wood scent, moss, and musk. So not exactly the same by any means, but I thought the two might play well together. And I'll have a link down below for this one here. And of course, Dr. John's website. Got it whipped up here in this morning. Yes, I do have water in the scuttle this morning. I do have it whipped up in. It's fairly wet. Got it whipped up here with the Shaven Sailor 3D printed brush handle there. And it is just about drippy. It's fairly wet. Had a lot of fun whipping this one up. Just getting it to that point right there. That's one of those things I enjoy doing. Italian Barber offers this particular set of blades. This is a 10-pack. These are made by Treet. This is a what they refer to as super power, super quality blades. Super. And going to give these a try today. Never used them before, and this is what it comes wrapped in. Looks pretty nice. That's what the back side looks like, and it is double wrapped also. Now, from what I can gather, I guess this is considered a carbon steel blade. Treet has another carbon steel blade. I have a pack of those too, and that particular blade. In some shavers, it does well. Some shavers, not so much, but this will be a first time go on this one here, so we'll see how it works out. Now, I have it here. This is, this is 1959 flare tip here. Twist to open. It's not in the best of shape, but it's not in terrible shape either. It works just fine. And there is a slight difference in between this one here and a I think it's 58, if I got everything straight in my mind here. This one here is the TV version of the flare tip, and you can kind of tell that the knurling here is different than the rest of them, I guess you might say. And some of these, depending on, I think, what year, or I'm not real sure what all the story is behind these flare tips. You notice like this one here has a line right here, then a line towards the end there. Some of these don't have all those lines. Some may not have any lines. I'm not real sure what the meaning is behind all that, but anyhow, this particular one here, I need to get those end caps. When I bought this one here, it did not have the end caps, and I need to get those replaced. And there's more than one way of sticking them on there. I'm just not sure which I'm most comfortable with sticking them on there with. But at any rate, thought I'd just point out that might see some of these like on eBay. Somebody may not realize what they have, and you generally not always these TV special ones, because they're only made for 1 year. You might be able to score one of those without having to pay out the nose for it. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning, and we'll go ahead and use the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Christmas cube here. But it's those two shavers. It's the history. And if, in other words, because, some of us are old enough, to remember having those TVs with rabbit ears, and always having to go and adjust the ears in order to get the station to come in right, and getting the shadows on there. And over the years, we can remember some of these old advertisements for shaving gear. And even like on Monday Night Football, in other words, you'd see the advertisement for razors and whatnot. And at that time, of course, not having any idea that things would evolve like they have now. In other words, if my younger days, instead of buying all the football and baseball cards, maybe I should have bought a few razors, huh? Back then, when I was collecting, buying the football and baseball cards, it started out you would get, I think it was like, what was it, 10 cards, something like that, and some gum with it. And when I first started, they were 20 cents a package. And then they went up to 25. And then plus, once you could include tax, then, you know, figuring out, okay, well, how am I going to come up with those extra pennies for tax? But anyway, the fun things I did when I was a kid. Because the store was just down the road from us. I'm not sure how far, maybe half a mile. Maybe it might have been a mile, I don't know. It was a little ways. And I would go down there, and the store was called Whackers. That was the name of the store. And that's where I get all of my football and baseball cards. The lady there got used to me coming in with my pocket full of change and counting it all out for her and all that sort of thing. And she made me make sure that I had enough for the tax, of course. In other words, not cutting me any slack. The fun days, right? Rode my bicycle down there and back. That was back in the day when things like that were a little bit more on the okay thing to do. Nowadays, it's a bit different. The scent on this is, oh, how can you say? I'm going to get lather everywhere. I think that's just how it's going to be this morning. Even though there is, it's not a real strong sweet scent, even though it's got fruit in it. It's more of a, I'm not sure what it is that, I guess you might say, cut the top off the sweetness. You might pick up a little bit of the fruit every once in a while, but this one here is not heavy on the sweet side of things and a sweet scent. It almost gives me the impression, the word that comes to mind when I smell this, it's a smooth scent. There's no brightness to it. It's not dark. It's not heavy. It's just like a, excuse me, just a real smooth scent to it. Smells nice. It's just surprising. Because usually, you know, you see, you know, the description of fruit. I'm going to put this razor off to the side, the one without a blade. That with a fruit scent to it that, you know, you might be picking up, you know, something sweet, and it doesn't have that. Not that that's a bad thing by any means. But this, of course, this soap is no longer in production. At least not that I'm aware of. So it's a buy-sell trade thing. So far, the blade's doing all right. In other words, normally the blade's not going to work out too well. first few strokes, in other words, I'm already can tell. But this is not too terribly bad. I don't know, with my beard type, well, I don't know, because I have a funny feeling that unless I get some serious beard reduction, I'm not sure that the Against the Grain Pass is going to be all that smooth. We'll see. As it goes for the shaver itself, this is supposed to be the middle of the road in the way of aggressiveness. So if you think that it's easier to find a lot of these, it's because I think these were the more popular ones. I think it fit more the bill for most folks. In other words, it wasn't too mild, wasn't too aggressive. And couldn't imagine the blades back then. In other words, how sharp were they, as well as how smooth. In other words, too sharp. Or did they figure out a coating to put on there to make them feel a little bit better? For me, like I said before, you know, Teflon usually does the trick. Platinum's okay, chrome's okay. Just straight up carbon, though. Those usually provide interesting shades because sometimes it's a very much a hit miss. Sometimes I get a great shave and put it in a different shaver, brand new blade, and it's like, ooh, no, this is not a good match. So I've already got some PermaSharp sitting over here just in case this blade decided not to work out. Price wise, I think a pack is like at 10 blades for $1.50. I think that was the going rate. And as it goes for where do you find them at, Italian Barber, in other words, is the one that I found them at. I don't know of any other particular website, and I did look to see if they're available on eBay. This whipped up really nice. Nice soap. Oh, version. As it goes for base version, Dr. John's I think is on version 3 now. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that this version soap base might be. It's right. If I remember right, it's right there at the point where he's changed them from version 1 to version 2. So this might be a 1, and I don't know because it don't tell you on the bottom on the label. I'd have to see if I can't look at the ingredients of days gone by and see if I can't figure out which version is which. But I think this is version 1, but I could be wrong. For me, myself there, I don't find anything wrong with version 1. And I'm not too sure. I have to give it some thought. If I have version 2, I've only got like 1 tub of it. It's kind of one of those things where I've got several tubs of the version 1 that I need to use up before if it's on sale, of course, I'll pick it up. Can't pass up a bargain, right? Kind of reminds me when the kids were growing up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the thing. And one of the things I remember about watching all those episodes with the kids is never pay full price for late pizza. And that theme just kind of went right along with the with shave gears. Try not to pay full price for shave gear. So when it comes, on sale, typically what ends up happening is that one is sold out versus the other, and so usually the soap is the one that's easier to find, and the aftershave is already sold out. This is I have to say, for me, I don't know how he improved on it, and sometimes the way I look at it, it's like a computer when they do an operating system update, it's supposed to be improved. I don't know that they improved anything. They changed a lot, but I don't know that much of anything actually improved. This one here, this soap base is pretty good. I don't have a problem with it. And there's one thing I should mention. I think for the most part, I could be wrong, I don't recall prices. Sometimes I get it mixed up on who's charging what for, 4 ounces of soap. But I don't think his prices have changed a whole lot over time. I could be wrong. It's, like I say, when you got so many artisans, it's hard to keep track of when they first started out, how much were they charging and how much are they charging now. I think the going price is $20 right now. Which for me, typically, unless it's just something I'm really, really wanting, I have a tendency to wait till it goes on sale, which also means I typically miss out on quite a bit of stuff. That's all right, I got plenty to use. Boy, this blade so far is doing okay. Here's the real test against the grain. I say this shaver is considered to be a medium aggressive, and I know this soap is probably making a world of difference, because it is pretty nice. Whipped up nice and creamy. A little bit of feedback. It has thickened up since I started. Not quite as drippy, but the lather is very creamy at this point. There's a little bit right there. Some folks might like this particular blade. I think in certain shavers it would probably work a lot better. Not that it's not that it's not cutting by any means. Just not too terribly smooth for me, for my beard. Beard has a lot to do with it on how well it feels. Mine's a little on the tough side, you know, good and pokey. So if it starts to get out there a little bit, if you don't let it go, either shave it off or grow it out, it gets pretty wiry, pretty sharp. I have to say, for me, this blade, I'll use it in another shaver. I don't know that, in other words, it's not a 100-pack buy. I do like the packaging though. I like the colors and whatnot, but I wish they would put some more information about the blade, because that's one thing I noticed, is it seems like you have to go to either a site or two, a few websites, to even find out what kind of blade are you getting, because the information on the box itself doesn't tell you much. In other words, it doesn't tell you it's just a carbon steel blade with no coating. Does it have a coating? What kind of coating it is? Sometimes they just don't bother to tell you much about what the blade's all about. So it's more on marketing than anything else. And for me, I've already got blades that work well for me. That, in other words, I know. So trying a new one, it was just, you know, I thought, well, it's a stainless steel. I typically don't buy a whole lot of either carbon or stainless steel blades. Typically, when it comes to that, they're very hit miss, and more miss than hit. And for me, it's I kind of like looking at the blades that are coated with stuff that I know that works well for me. But I try every once in a while. I've got to give them a try, see if it's going to work out or not. It's not a bad shave. I mean, I don't have weepers, nicks, cuts, anything of the sort. It just wasn't all that smooth in a shaver that I've used other blades in and got a much smoother shave. Stinging right down through here in my neck. Didn't get any up here, which I usually, when I'm working at different angles, every once in a while I'll get some stinging right there. I don't have any today. Must got the pressure right, huh? Just a little bit of stinging, but it, like I say, for me, you know, for some folks, what I've been reading, got really nice shaves, several shaves out of a blade. For me, it's not my thing. And it wasn't that smooth for me. Like I say, it probably has a lot to do with my beard type. But I would say at least give it a try. It's not super expensive blade. Considering my face did survive it, so it can't be all that bad. It's just I know I got smoother ones out there. And other folks have already given it a try, and they do appreciate the blade. They do like it. So in other words, I might just be the outlier. Nice feeling. That cooling down feeling is just awesome. Okay, when it comes to the aftershave, Amazon for me was the best place for me to find this. And if you're really interested and you're buying on Amazon, I think probably the best route would be a 3-pack. In other words, get 3 of them as opposed to 1 of them. And typically the shipping is just as much as the aftershave, if not more. So that's the reason why I would almost suggest, you know, going with the 3-pack on the aftershave if you're going to buy it. This one here, as it goes for ounces, I think it's 1.7 ounces. As you can tell, it's not a real big container, but it is glass. I do appreciate that much of it. There are some ingredients that are in here that I guess you might say are touted for healing up your face if you do get some nicks and cuts and all that sort of thing. Also the restrictor, it's glass. It's part of the bottle. That's what it looks like there. For me, as it goes, it is a masculine scent, not a cologne scent, not in my opinion, not per my nose. I've used this before, as you can tell. It's I like it. For me, my nose does pick up the wood and the musk, and sometimes it depends, you know, where I'm smelling it at, especially on the dry down. Like now I'm picking up the wood pretty, you know, it's pretty strong right now with the wood, but my experiences in the past is as it dries down, I end up on the musk end of the scent as opposed to the wood. Uh, Moss, it's if it's in there, my nose is not picking it up, and if you follow me, my nose is not the best in the world. I should mention also this cap, if you can see it. I don't know if the light will catch it or not. It's got a post, more or less, that will go back down into the opening there, the aftershave, keeping the aftershave in there. In other words, packaging over time has definitely gotten better. I've not had any problems with this leaking out no matter what position it's in. And that cap stays put. If there was ever anything that I'd ever mention to somebody making these things is when your hands got a little bit of soap on them or whatever the case might be, wet. In other words, making some flat sides to these knobs, because sometimes they get hard to hang on to when your hands are a little wet, soapy, or whatever the case might be. Base fills, this is pretty good stuff. As it goes for what it does for your face, I like what this does for your face. It's just, for me, 1.7 ounces, and the degree of difficulty getting it with that kind of shipping, probably won't be buying a whole lot of it. Especially when I got Aqua Velva right here readily available. Had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, healthy, smooth shaves to you. And yes, we are getting just a little bit of snow here today.